Welcome to the Swamp Report. I'm Mike. This episode, we look at using natural areas to promote economic development in underserved neighborhoods without gentrification. Over the past several years, Metroparks Toledo has taken on a massive project to redevelop and rejuvenate Toledo's waterfront in downtown Toledo and adjacent lower-income working-class neighborhoods, putting over $100 million into green spaces and amenities for residents of the East Toledo and Vistula neighborhoods, along with the city center. Now, typically when large building projects like this take place, eventually new development pushes out the existing residents, sometimes leaving many of them homeless. This has happened time and time again in communities all across the country as their leaders have ignored those at the bottom in favor of attracting new residents with larger pocketbooks. So I asked Matt Killam, Outreach Administrator for Metroparks Toledo, what measures Metroparks took to make sure gentrification wouldn't drive residents out of their homes after the new park was built.
We settled in this part of Ohio in East Toledo. That was a significant amount of time ago, certainly, but what is the east side before the park got here? It is a working class, gritty neighborhoods full of good people and wanting to provide better lives for their families, right? So there's a tradition of, the sports arena was here, Wade High School, Tony Pacco's, so every place has a history, and around the riverfront as a whole, I think decisions made, frankly, hundreds of years ago, right? And those were the best decisions of the time. Industry came here on the river. It was inexpensive to be closer to the river, expensive to dump things in the river, and since then we've sort of abandoned it. As any city or civilization changes in terms of fads or migratory patterns of people moved away from the city, and Toledo as a whole, again, this isn't a criticism of prior leadership, Toledo as a whole sort of turned their backs on it. So we kept our salt down here. We left a bunch of abandoned buildings or industrial legacy along with what would be considered prime real estate in any other area. Again, this is probably a case study of a town that forgot for what era it came. The Metroparks came down to the riverfront by a culmination of events, but we represent the east side, we work for them, and what Garfield, Birmingham needed, or deserved, frankly, is a clean, safe, natural place for people to play and recreate, to gather safely, be apart safely, to celebrate what was already here, a rich community of families that we're all proud of. So that's really the east side, and it's a pride for the east siders to be from the east side. This is considered sort of a downtown park now, but this park was built for people within 5 miles of the park I'm standing in here today. So it's a downtown park, it's an east side park. It's meant to serve people within walking distance of the park proper. So I think that there's evidence that we nailed that, but we nailed that through listening, and a lot of it. And we're not done listening either. One of the things I asked was, how do we get the community involved, or how do the community participate? I'm really proud of the way that Metroparks does many things. One of the things I'm the most proud of is our design is by public input. So I have been in every room that would have me, as is what our team would as well, on the east side, years ahead of the first earth being moved, asking people who live here, if you could have anything along the riverfront that serve you, what would those things look like? And what we delivered is now a statewide and nationally recognized public green space based on their ideas. It's for them. It's not just a tagline. We are stewards of green spaces for the people who live in Lucas County. So our design is informed by those meetings, everything from large poster boards with dots put on images of things that would be nice to have or dreams to have. We ask people to dream big because from a park systems perspective and the support we have from Lucas County residents, we try to start, if you could have everything in the world, what would it be? That's where we want to start from. And usually we have to tick down a bit from that, admittedly, but let's try to start there. When we first got together, we were surprised that the community kept asking for swimming. Now, we don't do swimming, but we work for the community. The community is saying, we want swimming. So how we solve for that is the Mini Mami, which is a splash pad, Metroparks style. So it is absolutely a great place to play in water, but it's built as an exact replica to scale of the Mami water system. So we're going to dupe people into caring about ecology. We don't care if we have to build a swimming pool or splash pad to represent that learning element. We don't care if we have to build a treehouse village or a hotel in the clouds out in oak openings. We will get people to have experiences in the outdoors, thus they will steward them in the manner for which it deserves. And we couldn't have scripted it better. Again, we do design parks for residents within 5 miles of that park, but we promised the taxpayers of Lucas County there would also be a destination. It goes fairly dormant downtown here in the winter for any number of reasons. So we wanted to make sure that we activated this space 365, right, to spur other developments, but also to spur positive activity in our downtown area. So of those 200,000 guests, 18 to 20% were from the 05, which is the adjacent neighborhoods, or the Nickel, which is affectionately known on the east side. The remaining 80%, if you will, was from all over the place. It had over 100 different area codes and zip codes represented. But I will tell you, the Riverwalk, which is the larger project that this is a compartment of, is a 3-mile trail on either side of the river, connecting bridge to bridge to bridge to bridge. So that's the Anthony Wayne Bridge on the east side where I'm standing, to the Craig Bridge, and then you jump over the river on the west side from the Craig Bridge all the way back to Anthony Wayne Bridge. So, our driving pillar is building parks within 5 miles of the residents. So building a park that then ousts the residents is against the fiber of Metroparks being. So how do you deal with gentrification? And again, I want to acknowledge the fact that this is a wildly complex phenomenon. And the places that have suffered from it the most have made an active decision to greenlight projects because the greater return overshoots the minimum, hurting people that are usually hurting the most, right? Metroparks is very good about sticking to what they know, which is maintaining open green spaces and the ecology of Northwest Ohio, as well as activating it. We don't run ice skating facilities. We hire people to do that or partner with them. We don't run restaurants or bars. We farm that out. We don't own pickleball facilities. We have people who do that because they're in the business of doing that. So gentrification, the connection there is we built the Enrichment Center, which is a facility that we inherited when we took over the property from the developer. It's about 30,000 square feet. 10,000 square feet of it is our maintenance and security building that maintains and secures what will be all of the Riverwalk. 10% of that is white boxed now, and we're hoping to find a partner that will bring more services into this area, right? Because, if you have transportation issues or limitations, getting around Toledo, Ohio to get to services can be problematic. So we are looking for a partner to come in there that can provide any number of things. The reason why I make mention of that first before the other 10,000 square feet is because the other 10,000 square feet is programmatic open space, rooms for meetings, rooms for programs of small, medium, and large sizes. What we want to do there is make sure that we're providing as much education, access to services like screenings and things like that for healthcare, certainly, but how do we fight gentrification as we bring in experts? We brought some in from New York, we brought some in, or had conversations with people from DC who worked through their gentrification challenges on a global level. They are sort of a benchmark for working through this. We want to give people access to information, what is about to happen, what's going to happen, and how best to be prepared for all of the things, right? So we're not resting on our laurels as experts in this space because we're not. We want to provide people the opportunity to get access to the land bank and other agencies that have expertise in this arena, and we'll do everything hand in hand as we did in design to limit, if not make sure that there is no gentrification or pushing out those who live here. We have already seen some houses turn over here, specifically in the Garfield area, for over $100,000, and that's the first time this ever happened in Garfield. So the upside is people are finding equity in their homes. The next step, of course, is that you're at risk of the homes becoming increasing in value in a way that would be the residents not to be able to afford to live there. So we'll work through that, certainly to the best of our ability, and be the convener of people that can provide real helpful information. Again, not while it's happening, beforehand, and the next steps.
Special thanks to Matt for talking with me about this. It was great to finally meet him after talking with him online many times. And it was also nice to gain some insight into how Metroparks Toledo deals with important issues such as gentrification, which can hopefully be an example for other communities out there. If you enjoy the Swamp Report and you would like to enjoy it before everyone else, you can become a member of our Patreon and receive early access to all of the amazing content Three Pines Production Company has to offer. It's only $3.99 a month with your first week free, and you'll be supporting independent filmmaking at its finest. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Peace.